Hi, it's Michelle Williams here, and I'm just doing this quick video because I'm getting quite a lot of questions from all of you about how to price up your products and how to create your business plans. And so I just thought I'd give you a quick demonstration video because really this is something that's very difficult for me to answer by text messaging within the group. And I also just want to let you know that I'm actually setting up a new online community called Victorious Entrepreneurs, which is specifically to help women like yourselves that want to start and grow a business, because it's really important that you get off on the right footing. Now, I know through the Craft Academy, I've been helping everybody with how to make the products and running online courses and studio courses relating to that. But I'm becoming increasingly aware that the thing that most people actually struggle with is the whole business development and marketing. So this is what Victorious Entrepreneurs will be for. And I'm behind the scenes trying to create some content for you that will help you in sort of starting and growing your business. This is an extremely time-consuming project, so I'm not planning to launch this until the new year. I just want to give you a little taste of what's coming and give you the opportunity to go onto the wait list for that for when I launch it, because I think it will be really valuable for you all. But first of all, with regard to the question about how to price your products, often people are suggesting to me that they're just looking at their competitors and copying their pricing. That doesn't work, because how do you know that your competitors have actually worked out the correct pricing themselves? Are they aware of what costs are involved with producing their products, for instance? Also, by doing that, you run the risk of not only competing on price, which is never a good thing to do, you're not building in your value-added services and your USP into your pricing. So I just want to go through very quickly, and this is very quickly, like a whistle-stop tour, if you like, of really some of the things that you need to be thinking about when you're thinking about your cost and pricing strategy and creating your business plan. So I'm just going to try and share my screen, so bear with me, and I'll try and bring up a spreadsheet. Bear with me a second. Okay. Right. Okay. Hopefully you can see this that's come up on the screen. Excuse me, I just need some water. Bear with me a second. Drink plenty of water in this hot weather. Right. Okay. Let's assume that you are wanting to price up your products for baby casting. To come up with your pricing strategy, you need to basically break down your product into component costs. So for instance, let's say for a baby casting, you've got the cost of alginate. Hopefully I've spelled that right. You then need to put in how much alginate you actually use per cast. So let's say, and please don't take my calculations as gospel. You need to actually go away and do this yourself, because your pricing is going to depend upon who your suppliers are, what price you buy them from, what quantities you buy from. Obviously, you might get discounts for bulk purchasing and things like that. So I'm just giving you a demonstration of what you need to do, but you actually need to do this exercise yourself. But let's say that you use 300 grams of alginate per cast for a hand cast, and the cost of that is £5. I'm actually going to assume that this product is for a double cast, so for like a hand and foot in a frame or 2 feet in a frame. So if we're saying that we use 300 grams of alginate for like 1 foot cast, then we're going to be saying that we're going to be using 600 grams for 2. And roughly the cost of a bag of alginate is going to be about £5, depending upon where you buy it from and the quantities that you buy in. So let's assume one bag is £5, and you're going to be using 2 bags. So we'll put the cost of that as £10. Then your plaster costs for actually casting your moulds. I've got a note here that, for instance, if you're using a 25 kilogram bag of plaster, that's going to be maybe around £40, probably a little bit less. Again, depends what volumes you're buying in and who your supplier is. But let's just assume it's £40, just to have that nice and rounded figure. Now, I know from experience that you're going to use about 25 grams of plaster to cast a hand and about 50 grams of plaster to cast a foot. So again, what you need to do is look at the bag of plaster, which is 25 kilograms. And if we're assuming that each hand cast is 25 kilograms, basically you can create 1,000 sets of hand casts from your 25 kilogram of plaster. Now, the cost of that bag of plaster, as I've said, if we assume it's £40 divided by 1,000, the cost of a cast per hand cast is about 4p. But I'm going to assume here that that we're doing sort of like a foot cast. And for a foot cast, you're going to use probably 50 grams of plaster, and we're going to put 2 feet on that frame. So we're going to be using, let's just put here 100 grams of plaster here. Let's just put the quantities up here actually for you. And we're going to be using 6,000 alginate, 6,000 grams. Okay, so the cost of 100 grams of plaster is going to be about 16p. Then think about what other components go into your product. So we've got acrylic paint here. And let's assume this is a pot which costs you about £3, and you can get about 50 applications out of the pot. So the cost of that's going to be about 6p per cast. And then wax. Let's assume then the cost of a tin of wax is £10, and you can get 100 applications out of it. So let's say then that's going to be obviously one pence. Okay, then what other costs have you got? Go through what components go into your product. Obviously frames. So if this is a framed product, you need to put in the price of your frame. So again, everybody has got different suppliers that they use, different prices. So I can't, somebody asked me if I could create a pro forma business plan that's relevant for you all. And unfortunately, no, I can't, because it would be irrelevant, because everybody buys their supplies from different places in different quantities at different prices. So when you are developing your cost and pricing strategy, it needs to be part of your overall business planning strategy. And you need to be looking at all elements of your business, and that's reviewing who your suppliers are, what you're buying from them, what price you're buying at them from. You need to look at your competitor strategy. You need to do SWOT analysis and things like this. So I'm just giving you a small little overview of the financial planning process, but really this needs to be done as part of your whole business planning process, which is something that I'm going to be showing you how to do within Victorious Entrepreneurs. But this is just like a little sneak preview of the type of information that you need to be looking at for your cost and pricing strategy. So here we've got that it's £10 of alginate for a double foot casting, 16p is the cost for the plaster, 6p for the alginate, 1p for the wax, £20 for the frame. Total cost £30 to actually produce this product. You then need to factor in your time. How much time does it actually cost you to make this product? Because a lot of people in creative industries don't factor in the time that is involved in actually producing the products, and they're actually underselling themselves. So where you've got profit margin here, you actually need to think about, what do you actually want to charge? What profit do you want to make over over and above your costs? That is up for you to decide. And this is where you should have done your competitor analysis to identify your own strengths and weaknesses and your own unique selling points when compared to your competition. And you also do need to look at their pricing to see, you know, how does it compare? You don't want to just copy your competitors' pricing, but you need to work out your costs, then work out what you think you're worth. What is your time worth in creating these products? Have a look at the price and then compare it with your competitors. Are your prices more expensive? If they are, that's not necessarily a problem, because so long as you've got you know, value added within your product and your services, you know, a real unique selling point, a differentiator, then you can charge more, because people will always pay for premium products and premium branding, and that's where your marketing comes in. So let's say, for the case of argument, that you want to make £100 product profit per baby cast, per double frame baby cast. Put in your £100 there. This then tells you, price per unit, what price you should be selling at. Okay, you may decide, actually, no, I'm worth more than that. My products are worth more than that, and the value added that I offer is worth more than that. You may want to say that you want to earn, you know, £120 profit. It will then give you what you need to charge based upon your component costs and also your time costs down here. So this is the first exercise that you need to do as part of your financial planning. It's to break down all of your product costs to come up with your cost and pricing strategy. If you make fingerprint jewelry, you're going to need to go through the same exercise. So for instance, I'm just going to erase this information here. If you make fingerprint jewelry, let's say that you use 6 grams of silver clay per charm. And again, the cost of this is going to vary depending upon where you buy your silver clay and the volumes that you buy it in, because it's actually more cost effective to buy a 50-gram block of silver clay than it is a 7-gram block of silver clay. So again, this is the reason why I can't do this for you. You do need to go through this exercise yourself based upon the quantities that you buy in and your suppliers. But let's say that you've calculated that 6 grams of silver clay costs you 24 grams. And again, I'm assuming that you're using 6 grams of silver clay to make your fingerprint jewelry, but everybody's different, because again, this depends upon how thick you roll out your silver clay, what shapes you're making, what size shape cutters you're using. So you need to go through this exercise of actually working out exactly how much materials you use when you're producing your products. And then you need to go through this exercise yourself. So that's one component, would be silver clay. Then we've got the moulding compound. Again, everybody uses different brands and different amounts. So let's assume that the cost, again, what you need to do, if you use the blue and the white moulding compounds, have a look at the container, what volume of material is in there, what weight. Okay, then you need to roll out your fingerprint compound into the size that you use to create one fingerprint mold, and then you need to basically calculate how much of that you've used compared to the cost of the pot, and then do your calculations so that you can actually work out the cost of that one piece of moulding compound that you use per charm. So let's assume that you're using 50p's worth, and let's assume for the liver of sulphur that you're using 1p's worth. And then you've got jump rings, 1 jump ring. And let's assume the cost of that for you is 35p. And then what have you got? Let's say it's going to have a snake chain necklace on it. And the cost of that is £5. Okay, and then your packaging. So if you package it up into a gift box, put in your packaging costs, and let's assume that that is going to be £5. Again, these are just example figures. You know, I don't know how much you pay for your packaging, your jewelry boxes, your snake chain necklaces, or even if you use a snake chain necklace, you might use different types of findings. So you need to go through and work out exactly what components go into your products, who your suppliers are, what prices you pay, and basically calculate the component costs. When you have got your price, so for this example, the cost of making that fingerprint charm on a snake chain necklace with the packaging is £23.9. You then, again, need to factor in, just removing these figures because that's when I did the baby casting. So you need to factor in your time, your own worth. You know, how much time has it taken you to produce this piece of jewelry, and what rate per hour do you want to earn for yourself? So think about that. Let's say, for instance, that you want to sort of make £50 profit on that. Let's say it takes you half an hour to make that. This will then give you, based upon the profit margin that you want to achieve and the cost of making that product, this gives you your pricing strategy. So this is really the exercise that you need to go through. When you've done that, you should really be doing like a sales forecast and a cash flow forecast. So all of basically these templates I'm going to have within Victorious Entrepreneurs for you to use, along with some workbooks to help you through this process. But in the meantime, this is something that you can very easily do. You don't need a spreadsheet, you just need a bit of paper and a calculator, and you need to go through all of your costs. But the next thing you should do, once you've got your product costs, is do a sales forecast. So put in the first month that you intend to start trading, if you haven't already started your business, or maybe you want to do a sales forecast for starting next year. Put the months in the year here, and then you need to go through and forecast how many products you think you're going to sell a month. Really, again, this needs to be done as part of your entire business planning process. And you need to be looking at your marketing strategy and things like this. So this is a very big subject that I can't do in a quick video, but I'm just really trying to get you to think about the process of business planning, because I think a lot of people are just coming up with what I call accidental pricing, and you know, they're just basing their pricing upon competitors. Quite often I'm noticing people don't even have a business plan. They're really just winging it, setting up a Facebook page and hoping for the best. But if you don't have a plan, then it's really like setting off on a journey without a map, because how are you going to get to where you want to be if you don't know how to get there? So you really need to just try to start thinking in a very structured way about, you know, what are the costs involved in your products? What are the profit margins in your products? How many products do you think you're going to sell each month? Put them into a sales forecast like this. So let's assume in August you're selling 10, September you're going to do 15. Again, these are just examples. And you can see on this template that I'm using, it will automatically calculate your sales figures. But you really need to give some thought. There's no point just plucking figures out of thin air. You actually need to think, okay, how many products realistically do I think I can sell over what period? And really try and break it down into days of the week. So if you're only working 3 days a week, then obviously during those 3 days a week, how many products do you think you can sell? Come up with a figure, but also that needs to be backed up with a marketing plan, because you're not going to sell any products if nobody knows that you're out there. So you need to really do this as part of a whole business planning process, thinking about your business plan. So I'm not going to go into all of these spreadsheets today because this is something that will be within Victorious Entrepreneurs. But when you're doing your business planning, you need to understand your survival budget, and that's your own personal cost, and this is really so that when you're starting a business, you know that you've got enough money coming in to cover your own living expenses and things like this. And then when you have that information, then you would go on to do a cash flow forecast where you'd be putting in your sales and all of your costs. So you basically, from your sales forecast, you should have a very clear view and target of the sales that you want to bring in. And you should have a very clear understanding of the costs relating to your business, your marketing costs, your travel costs, your telephone costs, and all of these things. And that will give you a very good picture, really, of whether your sales forecast is viable. Do you need to up that? Do you need to reduce your costs? Do you need to sell more products? So this process is actually vital. Everybody needs to go through the business planning process. I'm not going to be going through filling all of this in with you because the purpose of this quick video is really to help people with their cost and pricing strategy. For people that need help with their business plan, then I'd like to invite you to join the waitlist for Victorious Entrepreneurs, because these are all online courses that I'm going to be, in fact, I'm in the process of filming many of them now with the aim of launching next year. And they're going to be very in-depth. I'm going to be going through every stage of the business planning process. There will be videos where I do presentations to talk you through all elements of starting and growing your business, relating to business planning, finance, legal information, GDPR, marketing, Facebook advertising, social media advertising, things like this. And basically each e-course or masterclass will have a set of videos. It will have templates, spreadsheets like this, and also workbooks like this. So this is the business planning workbook that I'm creating. And it literally talks you through the process of how to create a business plan. And actually the process of business planning, the process of writing a business plan, is actually more important in a lot of cases than the actual business plan itself, unless you need to get finance. And the reason that going through the process of writing a business plan is important is because it forces you to look at all elements of your business. It forces you to look at which suppliers you're using, how much are you paying them, what is your marketing strategy, what are the costs involved in that marketing strategy. It forces you to look at your competitors and what your strengths and weaknesses are against your competitors, and what research you've done and so forth. So this is just an example of the type of workbook that will be in Victorious Entrepreneurs. And as you can see, it's quite detailed, and it really forces you to go through the actual entire process of business planning to write a business plan. This will be accompanied by the spreadsheets that I just went through with you to actually help you to create your business plan. So I just wanted to introduce you to that and just go through that with you very quickly, because I know a lot of people are really struggling with just not knowing what prices to charge for their products, and from what I can see, are really sometimes going about it in the wrong way. Now, I feel really passionate. I really want to help everybody with growing successful businesses. So these are all courses that are going to be contained within a new website, Victorious Entrepreneurs. It can't be contained within the Keepsake Guild. And so that's a website that I'm having developed at the moment. But I do want to, as I said, just invite you to join the waitlist for that, so that when that's available, that you will be kept informed of that. But in the meantime, I hope that this little short snippet has helped you to just think about, you know, what you need to think about when you're deciding about your cost and your pricing strategy for your product. Please don't just copy the competitors. Make sure that it's very well thought out. You've thought about exactly what components are included in your product, and that you have also not only taken into account the cost, but you've also factored in your own time and your own worth, so that you are charging a sensible price and a profitable price as well. And then obviously, once you've done that, you need to go through the sales forecasting process to actually work out how many products are you going to be selling, you know, a day, a week, a month, a year, so that you've actually got goals to reach for. Because I think in any business, you know, if you don't have a goal, you're unlikely to actually reach your objectives, because you're it's sort of, there's a saying, something about, you know, I've forgotten what the saying is, but it's something about a goal without a plan is excuse me, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So it's very important that you do have a plan. All right, I hope that's helped, and I will speak to you very soon. Thank you.